Hey guys, Ron here. Hope everyone's well. Today I'm in Beverly Hills. In fact, I just turned off Benedict Canyon, and my companion today just said, "What's that huge house on the hill right in front of us?" I said, "That's where Sharon Tate and others, Wojciech Frykowski and Sebring and Steve Parent and Abigail Folger, were killed by the Manson family in 1969. The house has been razed, that house, of course, and a new Mediterranean villa has been built over it. But anyway, that's how close we are. This is prime Beverly Hills. And actually, I don't think I've ever been on this part of Roxbury. The other part of Roxbury, closer to Wilshire Boulevard, is where I filmed for you Lucille Ball's house and Jack Benny, and a lot of celebrities live there. This is North Roxbury, just off Sunset Boulevard, or on the other side of Sunset. Take a look, because today I wanted to do this because what reminded me to do this was I just saw a Twilight Zone episode called The Invaders. It's one in which Agnes Morehead doesn't have a single line of dialogue in the film. And I think it's because they didn't want you to know that she didn't speak English. But she's alone or she's not, but the character is not supposed to anyway. But that's the twist ending. But the thing is that she was reticent to take that part. She thought, why don't I have any dialogue? But, you do what you do. Anyway, today I'm looking at the house that she purchased. It was built in 1932. She bought this house in 1952, 20 years after it was built. It's 11,000, you'd never know from the outside. It's 11,700 square feet. This home, get ready folks, this home just sold in October of 2022 for $28 million. That's $28 million. And it really is not even that kind of Tudor house across the street. Looks larger, but apparently not. It's a very, very interesting story for Agnes Morehead. Very, very interesting. Obviously, they've done some rebuilding since 1932 when it was built. But interesting, if you study her life, she's obviously, there's some people coming right towards me. I'm going to pause. Of all things. So Agnes Morehead, of course, is most well remembered for playing the character of Endora on Bewitched for all 8 seasons. Mother of the character played by Elizabeth Montgomery, who lived right off here on Benedict Canyon. I actually showed you her house. I've got a video on her house as well. So, boy, they lived pretty close together. I don't know if the Agnes Morehead still lived here, though, in the 60s and into the early 70s. But I know that right after Bewitched, Agnes Morehead died. She died fairly young, which leads me to another story. She was in the film The Conqueror in 1956, which was filmed very close to St. George, Utah, or in St. George, Utah, where it's believed at least 20% of the cast died from cancer, and at least 40% of the cast and crew got cancer. So there's been rumors for decades that the fallout from the nuclear testing they were doing 100 some odd miles away caused John Wayne, and he included in that 40%, and John Wayne included that 20% who died of cancer, including Agnes Morehead, including Susan Hayward, including Pedro, well, I can't pronounce his name, and the director Dick Powell. Let's talk more about Agnes Morehead, and we'll go back to the house here. So, really an interesting story. She was born in 1900. She had a sister. Her father was a Presbyterian minister. Her mother was a former singer, which got little Agnes, interested in singing. In fact, at age 3, she was already doing the Lord's Prayer and starting to sing in her father's church. She decided in college she was doing plays, and she wanted to break into the movie business, but it didn't come easy. In fact, she was often unemployed, and often, according to her, whether it's urban lore, she went days without eating. She was really poor, and she said that's when she really learned, here's the house again, that's when she really learned the value of a dollar. And we can see that through that arch, which looks original from 32, that the house kind of goes back. But anyway, she said she really learned the value of a dollar because she had nothing for so long. Must have been something when she was able to afford to buy this beauty of a house, huh? Anyway, so then, like I said, she had a hard time making the movie business. She got into radio, and that really, in a way, was her saving grace because she became a part of Orson Welles' Mercury Players. Looks like they're doing some construction. I don't know all those signs on the door. See all those signs on the door there? They must be doing some kind of construction. Anyway, she became part of Mercury Players, Orson Welles company, and then because of that, almost the entire cast, if not the entire cast, became the cast for, the group, the Mercury Players, became the cast for his first film, the stupendous, great film, one of the greatest, not the greatest film of all time, Citizen Kane. Agnes played young Charles Foster Kane's mother, which would be Orson Welles' mother in the show, in the movie. She was also in his second film, Magnificent Ambersons, also a good picture. So then she started in films and also got her started in films, but she signed a contract with MGM. They weren't too happy about their players doing radio, but she continued to do theater and radio. And I told you in 1961, as her career was slightly on the wane, she did that Twilight Zone episode. Then in 1964, she joined the cast of Bewitched. She said, was thinking that the show Bewitched probably wouldn't, I'm assuming she took it for the money. She's saying she was, she gave interviews saying she didn't expect the show to make it. And that she also wanted in her contract, actually she had in her contract, let me show you a little more than that, she had in her contract that she would only work 8 of 12 days because she wanted to be free to pursue other interests, acting wise. And but she ended up staying with the show for 8 years, the whole run of the show. And she didn't like the writing. She had the attitude that, hey, I'm a movie star, I'm a theater star, I'm a radio star, and this is beneath me. And I'm paraphrasing, but she said the writers were hacks, and she didn't want to go down, remembered, quote unquote, as a quote unquote witch. And although she did stay with the show for 8 years, so if you assume she had enough money to live on by her 60s, she didn't have to stay with the show. She must have found some of it charming. She did not have an easy relationship with Dick York, but she liked Dick Sargent, the second husband. Look at this big Mediterranean. So a lot of them have been rebuilt, as you see. And she ended up staying with Bewitched for, like I said, the entire run of the show. And then by the time it ended, her health was already in decline. And she actually took a Broadway role, but had to quit because of her health and failing health, and she was replaced. And she still was working sporadically, and then she passed away. I believe she was 73, almost 74. Yeah, quite young. And John Wayne was 72 when he died from cancer. So again, and they both died from cancer. So again, was it attributed to the nuclear fallout in St. George, Utah from the film The Conqueror? What's ironic too is, if it's true that 40%, that out of the 40% of the cast and crew that got cancer that worked on the picture, The Conqueror, here's the house again, and out of the 20% at least who died from it, all that, it was voted one of the worst films of all time, if not the worst film of all time. I haven't seen it, but evidently the choice of is this a tour bus coming by? Evidently the choice of John Wayne to play Genghis Khan was not great casting. Tour bus is stopping. I must be missing somebody else's house. We're probably right next door that I'm not aware of. So let's see what's going on here. I'm going to pause for them. Oh, interesting. There they go. They stopped briefly in front of the house. Boy, you can never go in Beverly Hills without a tour bus, without a celebrity tour bus coming around, huh? Anyway, what I was saying was, it would be ironic if, unfortunately, all these people met their demise after doing what was deemed such a terrible picture, The Conqueror. I mean, you know, it was a great film, and everybody, half the cast king crew got sick. That's one thing, but to go down for something like that, man, it's terrible irony. All right, guys. So Ron here in front of Agnes Morehead's house in Hollywood. Yeah, that beautiful house behind me must be original too, from the 30s. That Tudor style. All right, guys. Great to be back with everybody. And my name is Ron. If you like the channel, please do subscribe. If you do subscribe, please hit the little bell icon next to the subscription button, and then you'll be notified as to when I post. And if you like what you see in here, please give me likes. It moves my channel up through the algorithms of YouTube. And you know, I'm literally making pennies at this point. So I need followers, guys, and I need likes, and I need action. So, because I'd like to at least pay for my gas to get up here. All right, guys, I'll see you at the next location. Thank you. Bye-bye.